Israeli leadership, specifically Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, spends significant time operating deep underground. His administration frequently relies on AI-assisted and heavily managed media to project an image of absolute security from these fortified bunkers. Meanwhile, the targets of Israel's massive military intelligence apparatus do the exact opposite. Key Iranian leaders continue walking in open daylight through dense crowds. Even after high-profile figures like Ali Larijani and Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei were specifically targeted and killed, with Khamenei reportedly holding a normal meeting in his own home right before the strike, the remaining leadership completely refuses to retreat to underground bunkers. Israel has demonstrated a consistent ability to locate and eliminate high-level figures with technical precision. Yet, this decapitation strategy is failing to induce panic or force a surrender within the Iranian state. The standard geopolitical playbook assumes a direct chain of cause and effect. Remove top commanders and political figures, and the state will naturally fracture and beg for terms. Instead of freezing, Iran reacts to these high-profile assassinations with immediate, highly coordinated military retaliation. Following the deaths of key leaders, Iran launched severe, sustained missile strikes directly into the Green Zone in Baghdad, sending heavy black smoke rolling over the urban landscape. Taking out the head of the Iranian state does not kill the body. It simply triggers a violent reflex. To understand why, we have to look at the exact engineering of their political and military system. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi recently articulated a very specific underlying doctrine. The Iranian system is explicitly designed so that it does not rely on any single individual to function. Their state apparatus operates as a highly decentralized network. If a top commander is deleted, the system immediately replaces them with multiple pre-connected redundant nodes. This structural redundancy ensures the system absorbs the shock of an assassination seamlessly. There is no power vacuum for foreign intelligence to exploit. Because the entire state is so heavily institutionalized, their overarching military and ideological strategy continues exactly as planned, completely independent of who occupies the top seat. Israel and the United States are applying a 20th century tactic of individual assassination against a 21st century decentralized network. Iran built this uncompromising, trustless system as a direct response to a long history of severe diplomatic betrayals by Western powers. In the 1980s, the United States heavily supplied and backed Saddam Hussein during his devastating invasion of Iran. Decades later, the U.S. military invaded Iraq and executed him. Then, in the 2010s, Iran entered a formal diplomatic setting to sign the Obama-era nuclear deal, opening their economy to the West. In 2016, Donald Trump unilaterally tore that exact agreement up. For the Iranian leadership, these massive diplomatic reversals provided hard evidence that Western treaties are entirely unreliable. Those historical betrayals dictate their current defiance. They continue to fight and launch missiles because they believe surrendering to hypocritical actors guarantees their own destruction. The stated geopolitical goal of current U.S. and Israeli operations is to trigger a public uprising that fractures the Iranian state into weak, manageable pieces. However, those expecting a transition to peaceful democracy are overlooking the country's existing internal power structure. In the event of a leadership collapse, power would likely consolidate within the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This institution is already the most radical and well-armed branch of the state, managing internal security and foreign military operations. For these hardline elements, the Strait of Hormuz is their primary strategic lever. This satellite map shows the narrow choke point where they have military dominance. A total blockade would instantly freeze global shipping, triggering worldwide economic destabilization. Underestimating the resilience of Iran's system is already a strategic failure, but successfully breaking the nation might be the very thing that plunges the entire globe into total chaos.